The auto collapse is coming quicker than the news portrays it to be. Ford just announced that they're going to cut making cars and they're going to only focus on making trucks, SUVs. This is Mike with Mr. No Fluff. And for the past 2.5 years, 3 years, I've been ringing the alarm that, hey, the crash is here and it'll be at your door very soon. Many people said I was a nut, ludicrous, etc. And I don't blame them. But one of the great skills that I have is to be able to see patterns that most people cannot see. That is why for the last 3 years I've been ringing the bell that, hey, the next crash is not going to be a stock crash or a real estate crash or just United States crash. It's going to be a worldwide economic crash, from real estate to auto to stocks to commodities, etc., guys. And here's a great example. That Ford, one of the very first companies to make cars in America, has announced that they're going to stop making cars and they're going to only focus on making trucks. And that's because for year after year after years, companies like Toyota and Nissan have been whipping the ass of Ford, Chevy, Chrysler, etc. Because these American-made companies, which I love, have made shitty product, dude. Inferior product compared to their competitors in China or in Japan. You know, you can buy a Toyota Corolla or Honda Civic and it'll last you 3 or 4 times longer than a Ford Focus. In that meantime, you own it for 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 times longer, your maintenance cost is way less. Your repair cost is way less. So by the American companies making inferior products year after year, decade after decade, the competitors have came in, made superior products for that last longer, that cost less money on the ownerships, on the buyers. And now their hard work has harvested the competitors. And now American-made cars are not going to be making anymore in America because it's just not profitable, okay? Now, what Ford is going to do is start making more trucks. But if you scratch deeper, if you dig deeper, it's more than just the quality of the cars. Many of you guys don't know that there is a problem with auto loans. Okay, we're in a situation where so many people have so much debt, okay, student debt, credit card debt, that they can't get loans for cars. And subprime auto loans have merged like crazy in the past 3 years, and no one's really talking about it. Not CNN, not NBC, not Fox, and which means that a lot of people that couldn't get a loan or shouldn't get a loan are now able to get a loan on a car. So subprime lending has bloomed like crazy. But with the way inflation is, with, less jobs, even though the Fed says jobs are going up, that's not true. They just do funny math. With all this stuff happening, people that are getting these subprime loans are defaulting. And now we're about to have a subprime auto loan bubble that exploded. And the consequences is that, U.S. car makers cannot sell their inferior, shitty products like they could easily before with easy money. Okay? Now, their inferior products had been there for a while. But there was a change into the lending of credit where now anyone could get a loan for a car called subprime lending, which allowed Ford and GMC to continue making a couple of more years to try to squeeze the last drops out and sell cars. But since this bubble is about to burst too, the manufacturers are getting smart that, hey, they're getting outduked by Toyota, Nissan, etc. And they're actually losing significant amount of money. and they have an inferior product. So now they're going to go just to make what they think they do best, which is make trucks. And for someone that owns many different trucks, guys, I used to own a moving company for 15 years. I own 150, 250s, 350s. So I'm very familiar with trucks. For my moving company, we hooked them up with trailers. So I bought many. I can tell you, in the end years of my business, I only bought Nissan trucks because they were more superior than a Ford F-150. In their insurances, in their liability, in their performance, everything. So I think that Ford had just made a major mistake in a sense of, it was good because they have too much different things going on. They're making all kinds of cars, EV cars, all that stuff, and they suck at all of it. So it's a good thing that they're going to cut and just focus on one thing or two things, okay, instead of 20 million things. However, I think they're going to be making a major mistake because I foresee the gas prices is going to be going up to $7 a gallon to $9 a gallon, somewhere around there in the very near future. And so these companies are selling, Ford is going to just only sell trucks. There's not going to be that much demand for trucks because when gas prices go up, just like the last crash, if you notice, people stop buying big trucks. When gas was like $4, $5 a gallon for just unleaded, the people that are buying the F-150s are just the average people. The family that makes $50,000, 2 people working or less. The people that make over 50 or 100 or 150 and plus, they're not buying trucks. Majority are not buying trucks. They're buying luxurious cars like Beamers and Mercedes and etc. So I see in the very near future that gas prices are going to go up, and Ford and GM are going to be hurting because they discontinued a lot of these lower level cars. And when that happens, they're going to be in a tough situation, Ford and GMC, etc., because they have these trucks that suck a lot of gas, and people are not going to be able to afford the gas cars because gas is so high. So this is going to be a very interesting situation because as sales prices drop, the makers are going to cut more and more products they produce, and they're going to produce less product, and they're going to put all their energy on 1 or 2 ships. And those ships are almost old ancient times because with EV cars coming out, with gas prices going up, with threat of war all the time, it's going to cost gas prices to go up. And not including inflation. I didn't even include that, which is a whole different story in itself, guys. So what does this mean? This means for you and me that the next time we buy a car, thanks to Trump's tariffs, any small car we buy is probably all made from out of the country, like Japan, China, Nissan, Toyota, Mitsubishi. We're going to be paying a lot more money for a Civic or a Honda or Corolla because of the tariffs. And 2, that very soon in the near future, I believe that Ford are going to have a harder time to survive because they're just going back to the one boat, which is trucks. And now there's competition for that, like Toyota Tundra, Nissan, Tacoma, Nissan, I forgot the name of it. Trucks are coming in. They're better quality, right around the same price. But more importantly, as gas prices go up, people cannot afford it. And lastly, diesel and gas are a dead technology. EVs are coming out. So in the near future, we can see that if Ford doesn't jump into making great electric cars, they're probably going to be a dinosaur company, just like Toys R Us, just like Radio Shack, just like JCPenney's, just like Sears, just like Blockbuster, because they had the lawmakers in their pockets through lobbyists and things like that. But the great thing with the fair market, the real true fair market, is the people decide what's good or not. And then people decided they ain't buying fucking a Ford. They're going to buy a Toyota, Honda, a Civic. Their engine's going to go 300, 400,000 with so much less repairs. So in the near future, guys, it's going to be very interesting times, because there's going to be crash coming on multiple ways, from the car, auto, loans, homes, stocks, bonds, all over the world. Just yesterday or day before, I posted on my Facebook and Instagram that all these countries that have their real estate is upside down, from Toronto to Germany to France. I mean, guys, if you're not following me on Instagram or Facebook, I highly recommend doing that, because I post there on a daily basis stuff that I don't, have time to do videos about. But in the near future, all these big corporations that been lobbying to get things their way, they're going to go out of business, because the people are going to decide with their money that, hey, I don't want to buy a crappy Ford that I got to spend so much money on, or I could buy this competitor for the same price, or maybe a little bit less, or maybe a little bit more, but it's not going to break down on me 20 million times. Okay? And that's where we are. So for about 3 years now, I've been ringing the doorbell, sounding the alarm. A lot of guys think I'm crazy. That's all right. Right, but you can see slowly but surely, guys, that the economy is moving in a direction that is not what's portrayed in streamline media, what's not being portrayed by the Federal Reserve, by our own government. That big mammoth corporations that had big cloth in our society are losing their grip, dude. And I'm happy for that. We don't need these big mammoth corporations that we have to bail out. We need the small guys. I am sick and tired of big corporations, to be honest with you. Like, I used to love Apple. I used to support them. I was one of the very first people that used Apples before the majority of people went to it. But now they have the most crappiest laptops, guys. In the past 2 years, I spent $5,000 on 2 different Apple MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. They were all shitty, guys. They all broke down in such a little time. So there's a point where, a company can be great, and after it becomes mammoth, so big to fail type of idea, then they start making shitty products, and they should go bankrupt, right? And if the government keeps interrupting the process of these big corporations going bankrupt because they have shitty products and they bring to the market and they know it's shitty, and they should let them go bankrupt. Because the more we try to bail them out like we did in the 2006 fourth quarter, 2007, 2008, we're just delaying their death process. They're still going to die. GMC's still going to die unless they make major changes. Ford's still going to die unless they make major changes, because new companies like Tesla are coming, right? The ones that are revolutionary. So more power to the small guy, and down with the big guys. I know the big guys are fueling the economy, but they're just providing shitty equipment, man. They're providing shitty shit. And we know some of us American, we just love our American-made stuff. But man, I don't want to spend $50,000 on a car and it breaks the shit down, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend $30,000 on a car and in a year I have to put a new transmission in it. That doesn't make sense. And I don't want to buy something that's worth $30,000 and their competitor gives me 10 times more than the American-made company. So I work hard for my money. I'm sure you guys too. And I think that if you had the option to buy an inferior product just because it was made in the USA, you're probably not going to do it, because the superior product might be some China or Japan made it. And I think that when you want to spend your own money, you don't care what country made it. You just want to buy the best product for your family. And I think that's the truth. And if companies are not making good product, fuck it. Let them go bankrupt, dude. We cannot bail these motherfuckers out, because they are controlling our society. And the truth is, in a free capital world like this, these companies will go bankrupt, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. They were doing more scams. There was on the news. But these people should go bankrupt with new technology like Bitcoins, or with new technology like Tesla. Okay? And if they're not providing a value for their customers, they're ripping their customers off by having shitty products, then let them go to hell. I'm sorry to say that, but let them go to hell, dude, because if I don't make good quality videos, you'll go somewhere else. If I own a moving company and I don't deliver, you'll go somewhere else. So why should it be any different for GMC or Ford? Because they're big? Because they lobbied? No, dude, we bailed them out. We made a mistake last time. And now you can see they're, in this upcoming crash, they're probably going to fold away. Okay, that's why Ford is being smart. They see the crash coming, and they're going to cut all their lines. I mean, they're going to cut majority of the vehicles they're going to produce, guys. They only stick with just a handful of vehicles that they have success with in America. But the bad news is those selected vehicles are dinosaurs. Gas is almost out of extinction. New cars are coming, and the Japanese and the Chinese, and they're already making trucks better than F-150. Unfortunately, and I own many truck Nissans. They're way better than the F-50 that I had for my moving companies, guys. So anyways, guys, if you find this video valuable, leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you own an American car, or if you own a different country car, leave it below. I like to see what kind of cars you guys drive, what state they're in, what country they're in, and leave a like and leave a comment and share. Don't take no for an answer, guys.